好的，我们现场的场灯已经关上，那我们的活动等一下呢就要开始了，所以我们请现场的球迷还没有入座的朋友，帮我们尽速的入座。感谢你们的配合，再一次提醒，你们的位置上呢有我们提供所准备的冠军赛、国王冠军赛的应援 T， 还没换上的朋友可以尽速的换上。 全场，我们现在可以先暖身一下，跟着我们 DJ 上的节奏，一起敲打你们的拍拍声。Good， 让我们迎接我们的冠军战第一场，把你们的拍拍声拿出来敲打。Let's go，Let's go。 That's right, that's right, that's right! It's final!
Y'all having a good time out there.
Everybody put your hands up! Good, good, good! Turn it up! Let's go! Let's go!
I know what y'all thinking that you can outthink me, but you can't frankly. I'm out for the Benjis, Frankies, you know. Just cause you ain't me, don't hate me. As a matter of fact, you should thank me, even if it don't.
准备了，我们的比赛准备要开始了。
Got the keys to the world now. Yours truly. They can't, they won't, they never will stop the party. They can't, they won't, they never will stop the party.
I say y'all having a good time out there.
Yeah!
Don't stop the party. get money.
All right, all right.
But I do. You don't get them girls loose.
欢迎所有新北国王的球迷来到我们新庄体育馆。今天呢是我们 P.LEAGUE 冠军赛的第一战，我是球给彭尊的彭尊，
我是你们今天的主持人，我名字叫汉地汉地利，大家给我跟彭尊一个最大的尖叫声 ！Oh my，
耶！
真的是 Oh my P.LEAGUE 啊！这个声音果然是我们冠军赛要有的声音。好，一样我们的季后赛的全新口号。We ready， 一共7个字母。那我们现在已经拿下了3个字母，也代表我们国王最终的7场实力，我们已经完成3项了。只要拿下7场胜利，就会迈向我们顶点的荣耀之路。
那奥迪台湾呢，一样呢，继续支持着我们与新北国王季后赛再度携手进化，不止于此，与禁卫军呢一起呢往胜利迈进，在进化的道路上力行超越。
没错，那我们现在所投射的是奥迪旗舰轿跑 RS 一创 GT 的尾灯展演。那箭矢装的灯条与一体成型的尾灯设计，让我们所有在场馆内的球迷们呢，亲身感受奥迪的灯光美学。
那冠军赛呢一进来，大家应该呢今天提早到，有满满的活动呢让大家参与。那最希望大家参与呢，就是呢我们 We Ready 的签名墙。那今天呢，希望大家把 R1呢这2个字母填满，写下呢你们想对禁卫军说的话。那接下来呢，我们把7个字母填满，一起呢迈向我们的冠军之路。
没错，那当然呢，在我们城堡周边活动也有增设了皇家宝座拍照区。那我们邀请诸位一起坐上王位，拍照上传至个人的社群媒体，就可以马上获得国王所提供的周边小礼。
那还有我们3分球预测，杨敬敏 MVP 套圈圈，塔防神射手奥迪进化神射手，以及 Aero 02城堡夹鞋机呢，很多的体验呢，大家早点来都可以去参观一下，体验走走。
没错，那另外在我们今天的中场游戏，我们将会举行奥迪车途拼一拼，我们将会邀请到4位幸运的球迷朋友们前来一起挑战。那获胜的球迷朋友将会获得奥迪R8模型车，想要参与的球迷朋友们呢，千万不要错过。然后在比赛开始之前，就像我们讲了，今天呢是我们 P.LEAGUE 的冠军赛的第1战。那我们先用最热烈、最大的爆动声欢迎我们新北国王啦队 New Taipei Queen。Yes sir。哇，这个声音可以啊。All right。All right, Queens ready? DJ Sung, drop the Queens.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast to all of the queens who are fighting alone. Baby, you're not dancing on your own. Can't live without me, you wanna, but you can't. Nah. Think it's funny, but honey, can't run this show on your own. I can feel my body shake, there's only so much I can take. I'll show you how a real queen behaves. No damsel in distress, don't need to save me. Once I start breathing fire, you can't tame me. And you might think I'm weak without a sword, but if I had one, it'd be bigger than yours. If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast to all of the queens who are fighting alone. Baby, you're not dancing on your own.
To see my name in lights, I'm invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You're gonna know my name. You can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this. Yeah, I was born to win. I am the champion.
Yeah. Surpassed all rivals. It's all about who wants it the most. Fight for what we believe in. That's what champions are made of.
I am the champion.
尖叫声给我们新北国王啦队 New Taipei Queen。 他们每一次都带来全新的视觉享受，以及在场边一起为我们新北国王加油，感谢你们。
本场比赛为 P.LEAGUE 2022-23赛季首场冠军战，将要对上卫冕军台北富邦勇士队。捍卫禁区的任务就交给所有新北国王的球迷朋友。首先为各位介绍客队台北富邦勇士队，0号赖廷恩，8号周桂宇，12号林志杰，13号林梦学，14号蔡文成，15号谢宗荣，23号石伯恩，24号简廷照。接下来为各位介绍客队先发5人 ，Starting Five： 3号张宗宪，11号洪凯杰，17号辛特利，21号曾祥军，32号塞瑟夫。总教练许金哲，助理教练吴永仁、江志正，林伟浩、魏维，领队蔡成儒。现场球迷朋友们，将我们目光一致上方大荧幕。
This isn't new territory for us. We've been here before. We made the playoffs, but we haven't done anything yet.
国王队拿下了 P.LEAGUE 例行赛的龙头宝座。
We still got a lot of work to do. Lock in on the details. Block out the noise. Are you ready? It's go time.
微笑射手，手在冒烟。又是林再可以进3分，第3球。决定一节的阿米，2分球。当中啊，算是摆着这2分。
是新北国王。首先为各位介绍 Number 9， 全能后场指挥官，新北标风玫瑰李凯燕。Number 24， 关键大心脏，小胖洪志胜。 Number 7， 观众拿来看，效力林立人。Number 10， 禁卫军弓箭手，微笑射手 JJ 简佑哲。Number 3， 来自国立体大，小命陈俊南。 Number 19， 皇家大硕，榜哥林金宝。Number 25， 来自政治大学，Omar 小 Q。 六马。Number 50，禁卫军门神，护国神 Q 坤信，David。接下来为各位介绍新北国王先发5人 ，Starting 5。Number 1，就这样被你征服，叫什么令？林书伟。Number 55，新北直升机，年高 Kenny Manigo。Number 17，禁卫军瑞士刀，我大苏醒，苏世勋。Number 5，禁区猛兽，帝王木，熊大，法尔莫人。Finally。Number 6，禁卫军士官长，新北的阿美族战士杨老杨杨建明。中看罗马将助理教练马卡佩拉许浩成，体能教练刘振宇，首席体能教练张松熙，数据分析师林振宇，球队经理洪志虎，防务员邱博凯，吴崇豪，总经理毛家安，执行长陈信生，董事长王文祥。
好的，这边呢，我们将会邀请到我们新北国王啦队 New Taipei Queens 呢，一起来到我们的场中央，为我们新北国王加油应援。好，那我们欢迎 New Taipei Queens。好的，我们的 Queens 呢都来到我们的场中央了。不管在比赛的过程中呢，我们在冠军赛照样依旧。我们的 Queens 呢，一样会在场边，或者是有时候会到2楼的区域呢，跟大家一起为我们新北国王加油应援。所以大家可以不要吝啬你们的拍扇，或者是你们的叫声，以及你们的掌声呢，可以跟我们的 Queens 一起在场边为我们新北国王加油应援。好的，第一个呢，我们要来先练习的就是我们的 defense， 也就是我们的防守。All right， DJ 上，让我们一起捍卫我们的王城嘛 ，Let's go！
Defense.
Defense! 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 Defense!
把我每分每秒掌握在我手里 ，Oh my PLG， 配得起像离火币，就让上不再冲到底，分秒必争，撑下去，谁输赢看为定。
我们的皇家应援团跟大家挥挥手好吗？皇家应援团们，没错，不管在罚球啊，或者是呢在
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, seniors and youth. Welcome to the All My PLG Finals. It's the MRT series between the Kings and the Braves. The Kings, in only their second year as a club, denied last year in the opening round with a winner-take-all Game 5 on the road, but over the offseason, they re-signed with head coach Ryan Marchand, who won Coach of the Year. They also re-signed Byron Mullins to a multi-year contract, and he's turned in a season with consideration for Import of the Year. They made a blockbuster trade to acquire three-time Braves champion Joseph Lin, who has elevated his game even higher. Now, despite starting on the road, the incumbent champions are the Braves. Whether you've been following on since the season began back on November 5th or 2022, or you found us for the first time, it's a pleasure to have you with us as we present the series to determine the champion of our season is the Taipei Fubon Braves against the new Taipei Kings. The Kings upgrading the facilities outside to really shore up the castle here in Xinzhuang. On the Brave side, they're also led by Aboriginal tribe descendant beast Lin Zijie, who closed the door in the last series, but along with him, three Wiseman Council is the captain and trick shot master Tai Wen-Tun, and first year's Plus League MVP Jet Zhang Zhongxin, Chris Johnson, the new Plus League highlight maker, while over-reliable Igor Zaisev and two-time Finals MVP Michael Singletary are still part of the club. To get to this point, the Kings bested the Dreamers in 4 games, while the Braves carry out the very first ever Plus League playoff sweep in our league history, taking over the Young Pilots to school in 3 games. And that's where we end up. The two teams on top of the regular season standings are meeting in the finals. On the Mandarin broadcast, it's Chen Wang Xinkai on the left and Cai Bao Cai Jijing。球迷朋友们，你找到了 Plus League 的英文转播喽，要看王信凯跟蔡包的奖品，当然就按到中文连接。谢谢你收看，记得我们的转播都按赞。One last introduction before getting to my partner is Uncle and Mr. Walter Wong sitting courtside, but taking over for play-by-play in today's action will be Taylor Chen. Hey, Taylor.
Thanks, Ryan. Happy to be here for the Battle of the MRT line, or Battle of North, I suppose. Let's get to it. Kings punched their ticket to the finals in their sophomore year in the Plus League. Last season, they did make it into the playoffs at 4th place, but they fell short up against the Hsinchu Jayco Lioneers. They had Sim Bullard, Defensive Player of the Year, or Import Player of the Year, but we have on the screen Beast and Amigo. That is something that is our headliners today. We see that Lin Zijie scored 29 points, 10 rebounds, got a double-double, but Yang Jianmi had to step it up also in the last game up against the Taixing Dreamers. Scored 25 points, 5 rebounds, making 6 of his 5 3-point shots.
And the graphics department not being very nice with our two very, we call them experienced players here on the English broadcast.
We're not going to use seniors, we're going to use very experienced.
In fact, Beast is actually going to turn 41 on June 11th. So in the middle of this series, presumably, if it will move on to the necessary Game 5 and so on. But those two gentlemen, they always keep on saying, leading by example. And so how will they lead their club in this matchup? And maybe what kind of takeaways the kids will have as they move on with their basketball careers and hopefully the everlasting Plus League action. On the Brave side, it was Coach Roger and Coach Marchand on the King side interacting in yesterday's media event.
老，我要进要比老啊！教练团不在我范围之内，我们不开玩笑，我们只有现在在开玩笑。上球场他都不跟我讲话。我刚才在问他，我说明天你要拿几分，你先跟我讲，这样我才比较好预测自己的分数。已经2个冠军了，2个冠军，所以要更加认真啊！不要这样。
So yesterday, it was Amigo and Beast who came together very briefly for some of the media event and the press event yesterday. Of course, Amigo making a joke that you've already won 2 titles, actually denying Amigo in year 1 when he was a member of the Dreamers. But since then, Amigos moving on to the new Taipei Kings turned into MVP performance last year and is leading the club with the local scores this year. And so he had a disappointing showing in last year's playoffs. So this year, out for a redemption, and he's off to a good start as Mr. Walter Wong addressing the crowd in the middle.
西北国王队多多加油，好不好？好。那我们来练习一下，好不好？来，1、2、3，西北加油！西北国王队加油，好不好？还有呢，今天呢，还有，今天那个其实呢，我们常常打球啊，忘了感谢谁，你知道吗？我们忘了感谢来裁判，忘了感谢呢我们3个裁判，裁判的工作很辛苦的，所以我这边感谢你们。Okay, let's go Kings!
Interesting. The takeaway actually was to acknowledge the hard work of the officials here in this game and in all of Plus League action. There's 21 in all in the Plus League officiating staff. And interesting mix. They have referees from 3 different levels of experience in this season. Well, during the regular season where the 2 teams matched up 8 times, the Kings took the first 4 games before the Braves finally were able to go 3-1 down the stretch, though the last 2 games coming with a caveat with Byron Mullins out of action, and of course 68 points is the lowest Kings total of points scored on the season, so maybe a little bit fluky. They do have their previous playoff series as something of a reference point, but Coach Marchand yesterday acknowledging these 2 teams have played each other 14 times in 2 seasons, so they are plenty familiar with each other.
Absolutely. The Braves broke their the Kings' 7-game winning streak back in March 12th. So like we mentioned before, that was due to Mullins' absence. And, you know, it's kind of been a heel to the Kings right now. He's got food poisoning, or he had food poisoning. He had a leg contusion. But hopefully, Ryan Marchand said that it's nothing structural, not too big of a deal. They're going to just play as usual. We're going to sit down with Joseph Lin.
因为毕竟打到冠军赛，该练、该准备，其实我觉得都准备差不多。因为其实你要再怎么进步，或是再怎么突破，其实我觉得也没办法。所以我就觉得说，如何去平常心，然后把平时练的发挥出来，其实我觉得这比较重要。因为有时候可能冠军赛、大赛、比赛场子越大，其实我觉得可能会造成压力更高，然后比赛的紧张度也会更高，所以我就觉得说平常心的话，会让自己的表现可能会比较自然一点点这样子。
今年一定有比较多的 emotions 情绪吗？对啊，毕竟我在那边7年，然后就从小长大都在富邦 ，so 我还是很多非常好的朋友在那边 ，so there's definitely more emotions。这次可是我觉得目标还是一样，然后到比赛的时候不会想那么多 ，Yeah， 就是想拿下胜利。
Sitting down with Tai Wen-sun or Winston, he just talking about before the game business as usual and more so about staying ready so that when he's called in moments notice that he is ready to go. And talking about his role this season versus last season, it's about the same, but trying to lead the young players and, you know, they've got a lot of opportunities this season to play more, but it's not to say it comes easy. If the younger players can't finish the task, veterans will come in and take over. And Joe Lin, on the other hand, you know, he's got more emotions in this series. He's played 7 whole years with the Fubon Braves, so lots on the line.
Starting lineup where you have the Braves with left to right Jet, Zhang Longxin, KJ Hongkai-jie, Michael Singler, Jack Zhen Qiangjun, and Yer Zaisef. And for the Kings, also a familiar lineup, Joseph Lin, Kenny Manigault, Amigo Yang Jingmi, Su Sixuan, and Byron Mullins. And not to forget, head of officiating for tonight's game is Lai Jianzong, 3rd year in the Plus League. The Kings featuring their gray kit and the Braves with their familiar, what would you call that, sky blue or baby blue jerseys that they featured for a long time in their Fubon history.
Ooh, I would say navy blue, but I mean, looking at the crowd right now, I see royal blue, Dodger blue. It's a good crowd, good section behind the Braves players right now.
Those are the giveaway t-shirts from Game 1 of the Braves series against the Pilots. As we mentioned before in the broadcast, the first ever sweep. So the Braves have maybe an extra day of rest on the Kings, who were entangled in that tough series against the Dreamers. You know the Dreamers will fight really hard at home, and it's always tough to close teams out in a win-or-go-home final game of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. They fought hard in the third quarter. The Kings kind of were in the wrong places, didn't get the right passes, couldn't get their shots in, but at the end of the day, they finally made it through in the fourth quarter, and that's what Coach Raja Shu mentioned in the media day, just saying that the Kings are very strong in the fourth quarter. So we're going to see if they're going to start off strong, as we predicted. Ryan and I both agreed that we're going to see a lot of Singletary and Zaitsev as the two imports against Kings.
That's right. Michael Singletary and Ihor Zaitsev, part of the Braves program ever since the Braves joined the Plus League, and of course that means they are two-time champs along with most of the other squad. But we'll get into it during the game. The Braves rotation and their younger back end. And on the Kings side, of course, the Kings made it well known that they have a lot of vets kind of reaching the last stages of their career, but it would be great to take this title. And Audi executive Rahil Ansari throwing up the ceremonial tip. And with all of our processions checked off, we are just about ready to get the finals underway.
We about to kick off. One of the particular younger players getting a lot more opportunity on the court is Zheng Xiangjun Jack. Last season versus this season, significant more playing time. Averaged in the regular season 26 minutes, scoring 13 points as we kick off finals game 1. Zhou Lin with the ball. Is at the top, rolls out of bounds to us. Still Kings possession. Manigault coming up.
So one of the biggest things about the Kings in their offseason, of course, last year they had one of the All Plus League team members in Lee Kai-yin, but making the big trade for Joseph, and then Kenny Manigault could run the point as well. We'll have to see how they mix those guys up in the finals.
And Zhou Lin with 12 seconds left to go, passes it to Mullins. Mullins finds Sushi, and Sushi draws a foul.
Classic high-low action. Byron Mullins, said by Coach Marchand, of course, is maybe not in peak condition against the Dreamers, so used him as a decoy and working to perfection there as there was a mismatch. And so Big Sushi, like he does often, getting the first scoring opportunity for the Kings in the game.
That's how we kick off. First free throw shot in, good.
James Sushishin also started all 4 games in the previous series for the Kings, despite coming into the season injured and slowly have to work his way up, but only 1 for 2 on the trip.
Jet finds Zaitsev at the top of the perimeter, but hands it back. And Singletary from El Paso, Texas, couldn't get the 3. Still going to be a Braves possession.
There's something that was asked during the press event, whether Michael Singletary can repeat his finals MVP performance, or will Kenny Manigault put a clamps on him. And so, of course, both head coaches sharing their part as Jet goes to the basket.
Starting off again, we got quite a veteran team here on the court right now, thanks to Singletary and Jet. Mullins passes it to Manigault. At the key, passes it to Zhou Lin. 5 seconds countdown. He's double teamed by Singletary. And that draws a foul. Get an opportunity at the free throw line.
Again, but this time a little bit lucky. James right there in the right spot, picking up the loose ball when it could have easily been a turnover by Joseph, probing a little too deep into the Braves defense.
Sushi just drawing fouls after fouls. He's definitely one of the younger players that is willing to put his whole body on the line, whether it's on defense or offense.
Made his season debut 3 weeks in on November 25th, but didn't play more than 10 minutes till a month later on December 20th. So he's picked up quite a bit of steam in his season with the Kings coming over from the Taiwan Trust.
Zaisev, with no one guarding him, makes the first three of the game.
Talk about modern basketball, Zaisev, Johnson, and you can also throw in Byron Mullins among some of the best three-point shooters in the league.
Absolutely. We talked about him being defensively sound, but his three-point percentage is pretty impressive at 42%. Manigault trying to go in for three at the corner, no good. Singletary with a mid-range jumper. Draws a foul.
There'd be free throws coming up, as this time it was Singletary kind of coming through on the fast break and got a little bit of contact, maybe twice. But of course, the home King fans don't really agree.
See the pool noodles going up, but no effect on Singletary.
Now, Michael Singletary, among the 5 imports in this series, averaging the highest scoring at 27.2 points per game in this head-to-head. The regular season, of course. Now we're in the playoffs, and it's time for everyone to step up their game.
Manigault passes it over to Mullins. But Amigo double teamed by Jet and Zaisev. Tough defense on Amigo. But draws a foul on Jet.
Also, keep a note of this. Amigo loves to find some space on the perimeter and go to attack, but then the Braves showing a double team in this situation.
Amigo for three. Ricochets high off the backboard. Singletary to KJ. KJ previously with the Kings. And Mullins gets the rebound out to Jolin.
At that time, taking it all the way on his own, trying to take advantage of the slight height advantage over Joseph.
The ball ricochets out of Singletary. That rolls out of bounds. Referees are going to call it Kings possession still.
That's one thing that Zheng Xiangjun does a pretty decent job at, is playing defense on the perimeter for as long as it's necessary, and of course, earning him all defensive first team as announced this week.
Shot clock is at 7 seconds. Joseph tries to find Manigault. Ball gets slapped out of bounds.
See, once again, they're doubling it every time when Amigo has possession on the perimeter.
4 seconds only on the shot clock, and Sushi comes in for a jumper. Off target. Got full court going on right now. Singletary from deep gets the ball rattled out of the hoop.
He's extending his range considerably. He can do it.
And Sushi up against first defensive team, Zheng Xiangjun, and Amigo lays in two for himself.
That time going right at Jet, Zhang Zhongshan, who has a strong defensive reputation himself.
So overhand pass to Zaisev, back to Singletary. Draws a foul on Byron Mullins. Or excuse me, Manigault. You see the replay right here. Amigo getting in that lay-in.
Yeah, there's no help on the backside as all the other defenders for the Braves occupied, but on the other side, it's Michael Singletary. Just an easy give and go. Now, the key is, it was a foul on Byron Mullins, his second. Now, the Kings have 4 players they can play at big, but we'll see how long Coach Marchand sticks with his import.
Speaking of from Coach Marchand. He won Coach of the Year, and so that is P.LEAGUE's first ever foreign coach winning that title. So previous winners were Roger Xu as well as Jingju Pioneers' Lin Guanlun. But talking about this accolade, he said obviously it's great for the resume and it's good for all the history that he's been through, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is to take this crown. Outlook to Amigo. And another field goal, 9-7 is the score.
One thing that was apparent in the last series is the Dreamers could run on the Kings, but so far it's the Kings who've turned defense into offense.
Goes for a teardrop shot is Jet. Couldn't execute.
But I'm sure the Kings would argue they're very good in transition.
Then it got off target. Swinging back to the Braves.
Here's a classic that the Braves love. Zaitsev on the post for choosing to shoot himself. Usually they like to run some split action off of it.
Amigo carving through the paint and another lay-in.
That time utilizing a screen as on this side it's Byron Mullins with the stuff.
Stuck and pass to Joe Lin, and Manigault sets his foot. He's going into the paint but goes out of bounds. Braves possession, and finally we got Quincy Davis checking into the game, but just like that we got a TV timeout, score 11-7.
New Taipei Queens. Wow,
got the Queens with the TV timeout performance. For those just tuning in, welcome back to another PLG broadcast. You're tuned in to Game 1 of the finals, New Taipei Kings and Fubon Braves.
Pretty good on the drive. So he's not 100%. He's recovering. He is going to dress for the game, but will probably be on a limited minutes base because he's still, not 100%. But we do need him dressed up, ready to go for the playoffs.
Talking about needing Byron Mullins, as most of viewers know, Kings are short of a import player. Unfortunately, they didn't make the deadline to have another import on the roster, but fortunately enough for them, an X factor as well. We got Quincy Davis coming into the game.
Quincy Davis, of course, having the shoulder to the load, while Byron Mullins during the regular season had that lower leg injury. But of course, he and Big Sushi and Omar doing a decent job, though the team performance did slip a little. They were still the first team to clinch a playoff spot and, of course, have the home court advantage throughout the playoffs with a #1 seed.
Yeah, I kind of briefly talked about how the Kings were at 4th place last season, but they rose up the ranks and made it to a first as Zaitsev pushes through up against Davis for 2.
Those two guys, of course, battling ever since their SPL days when Zaitsev was with the Taiwan beer team and Davis, of course, with Puyin.
And Migo tried to go in for a 3, but that rattles out.
Oh boy, the Braves maybe catching a little bit of a break because he was a 50% three-point shooter in the last series.
Absolute killer, but Singletary tried to go in for the layup. Joe Lin getting the ball out of KJ's hands. He's coming back in. That goes denied by Zaitsev. Jun tries to get the ball. Manigault gets a foul.
Some missed opportunities both ways, but both teams showing their aggression and eagerness, especially to get to the basket, which is always a big question because Zaitsev, a defensive stalwart in there, but just about 7 feet tall, and Byron Mullins listed at 7 feet tall, but has got those long arms. And of course, who could forget Aiguosa and Quincy Davis, as we see Beast is checked into the game.
Battle of the Amesus. Singletary couldn't connect the dots for that mid-range jumper. Amigo, he finds space in the paint, but finds Sushi for 2.
He was scoring before, and this time Sushi in the right place at the right time. Doesn't get a huge individual scoring mark on the season, but he's what is so-called a guy who's sipping, who will find his opportunities off of a teammate's passes down low.
Sushi at the top to Manigault. Manigault finds space between Singletary and Zaitsev, but pops it back out of the perimeter. Just in for 3. No, good. Singletary, outlook pass to Jet. Waiting for Singletary, nearly loses the ball. He comes up against Sushi. Couldn't execute there. Manigault bringing the ball back.
Trying to take on a wall of Kings defenders.
3 points, it's good. The crowd is going wild here at the sold-out Xinzhuang Stadium.
Well, it's sure a lot easier when the 3-pointers are in transition. And so the Braves will counter with a Beast first touch.
Beast coming in to answer the call.
The and one with a foul to Quincy Davis, who not showing the most energy out there, but maybe he's saving himself for later in the game. As you see Joseph Lin stepping up for the screen in transition.
Jet is going to the bench, and in for Jet, we got number 8, Zhou Guiyu. A free throw shot was good. Talking about the kids of the Braves, Zhou Guiyu, as well as Jian Tingzhao and Hong Kaijie, and also we mentioned before Zheng Xiangjun. And Manigault from the top goes in for 3. That ricochets far out of bounds, so Braves possession.
One little note about the active roster as they bring in number 13, Lin Mengshi, is the Braves have a few more bodies at the big position with Li Mengshi and Xie Zongrong. Coach Roger and the staff have actually chosen to only have one of them dressed for a lot of the games, but now they're both in there for a little bit more depth at the forward position.
Beast up against Amigo. Definitely last second goes in for 3. Draws a foul. Amigo shocked by the call from the ref.
Well, it's kind of funny because Amigo will use that move against younger players all the time. When you feel that hand on him and you see that little bit of a hook, Beast just decided to throw it up there, of course, with a prayer to hit the shot, but of course getting some free throws on the trip, keeping his feet behind the line, and it'll be 3 shots.
First one's a go. Two for 2 for Beast on media day. Jet and Beast as well as Amigo sat side by side, just talking like they were pals, and you know they've been through thick and thin together. Absolute legends in Taiwan basketball, been together since playing in Taiwan beer as well as both playing the CBA. And being shortchanged in the Plus League's debut season, unfortunately, due to COVID. And back here again as Mullen tries to go in for 3, way off target. Singletary quickly, another outlet pass to Beast. No look pass denied on the back, but Q Davis and Amigo goes in for 2. What coast-to-coast pass by Manigault.
That's what we're talking about. Kenny Manigault actually #2 in the league in assists, if not for Jeremy Lin with an incredible mark in less than the required games, but averaging enough. Previously, it was Ling Mengxue who could not get around Quincy Davis's block. Well,
Another foul on Manigault.
But one thing that really worked for the Kings in the last series, especially in the last game, is going small. And so Joseph and Amigo out, Venti and Kyle in. Both Venti is a point guard and Kyle sometimes a two-way guard. You see the arm on the hand, couldn't get away that time, and more free throws. 2 personal on Kenny Manigault, so keep an eye out on that.
Kyle, first time checking in for the Kings. Was announced a couple of weeks ago in May that he would be on the Chinese Taipei blue team. So a couple of other players in this series are also on the national teams. We got Zheng Xiangjun as well as Zhou Guiyu. A free throw ball rattles out as Venti is in the game. Venti for 3. Just short. Singletary pushes through to the inside, pops it back out to Zaitsev. Zaitsev finding Zhou Guiyu and comes in for a teardrop shot.
That's just good control, good experience. Even though Kyle is a shorter defender, he still got hops. It could have blocked a shot, but a good patient move. Zhou Guiyu actually played a big position while he was a student in high school and a little bit in college, as there was a foul on the off-ball situation.
Got some subs in.
Of course, Quincy Davis, so hard to handle down low for any local players, and despite getting the foul call, also having an extra word. And as you see, Matt Breyer on the left, and a newly joined colleague with the East Asia Super League in Dominique Tang to Charles Chen's left and right. And somehow in the background hiding is Yergi Caminos, head coach of the Pilots, also in attendance.
Basque head coach for the Taoren Pilots. Score 18 all. Ball popped out to Singletary.
Ling Jingbang's in there to guard Singletary.
He's turning around for that mid-range shot. Venti finds Ling Jingbang.
Not much of a scoring threat is Ling Jingbang, so Singletary sagging off of him.
It's ISO between Zaitsev and Meng. Trying to go for 2. That goes around and out.
It's going to be a foul on Jimmy Shizono, who checked in for Lee Mengxue, whose last action was fouling Quincy Davis. That'll give the Kings a free throw opportunity, in fact. Let's see what's going on. In fact, it looks like Quincy Davis kind of played the smarts there with the hand fighting. But a foul's a foul, says the referee.
Jie Zongrong, a new signing for the Braves this season, was in Taiwan Bank from 2017 to 2020. Got MVP, most improved player, as well as nominated for first SBL first team.
Well, as much as maybe we say Quincy Davis still finding some energy in the start of the game, he is, after all, 40 years of experience.
Lots of experience.
He got lots of experience.
Lots of experience. Lai Ting-en coming in for the game first time for Zhou Guiyu. As well as Winston coming in.
It's kind of a lineup we don't see very often. Winston, Lai Ting, and Xie Zongrong, the trio together.
You know, so much for respect, because I keep hearing that they call Tsai Wan-Chen Abe.
I mean, he kind of looks like it, and he kind of plays like it. We'll show the audience soon enough. Zipper cut by Beast.
Winston tries to get 2 in. Solid defense by Kings.
They're just playing really solid fundamental defense, matching up. They do switch a lot because they love their man-to-man, but Coach Marchand and the staff believe in modern defensive principles.
Kyle stuck on the inside, pops it out to the perimeter. 5 seconds left to go. Mullins tries to go after a shot, recovers for 2, but draws a foul.
It looks like it's actually going to be a charge, and so that's definitely a tough one to take for the Kings. That'll be his 3rd personal. So as much as he trusts them, you kind of run into that risk. Let's see what the referee saw. They saying that he crashed into Zaisev, and because the defender's at a disadvantage now for the loose ball. So I'm sure the Kings can also wonder if Zaisev committed the blocking foul himself. It's a very close call with the footwork.
Braves are not complaining, though. This is definitely something that they're going to need. Any advantage is an advantage for the Braves. As Mullins already in foul trouble just in the first quarter with 1 minute 15 seconds left. Brandon Smart checking into the game.
Smart didn't get to play very much in the series against the Pilots. Let's see if Roger give him more rope, but they turn it over.
Missed passes. Ball goes out of bounds, though.
Stepping on the baseline, they say, and that's a few calls that have gone against the Kings toward the end of the first quarter, but we'll see the replay with Zaisev there manning the back line, and his left foot does go out of bounds.
Couldn't take advantage of that possession. Got less than a minute left to go. Taiwanson to Beast, and Beast for 3. That ball rattles out, the ball gets batted around, but Braves still have the ball. Brandon Smart up against Sushi.
And he answers with an out of bounds. A little bit too hurried there.
Again, we're talking about Sushi just using his whole entire body weight just to see that solid defense. You see a very unamused Coach Roger on the side.
Now Venti with a few missed threes. He has improved his percentage from last season to this season. As Zaisev forced way out to the jump circle to catch this pass.
Finds Brandon Smart. And Beast once again struggles to go through the paint, but lays it in for 2. Oh.
They call it a travel, Taylor. A few bobbles, but the referees don't say he lost possession. So in the end, it's a Braves turnover with 10 seconds for the Kings to try to make some magic.
Fans are counting down. Venti passes it to Davis. And then up and under, draws a foul.
That time faked up Smart in the air, and Zaisev came in on the second beat, but could not get the clean block. So more free throws for Quincy Davis. Pretty good execution by the Kings, knowing that the Braves were going to be in a little bit of a scramble there. The foul actually on Smart for reaching back there, as Davis will miss his first.
Huge section behind the Braves players. We hear some cowbells going off as Davis makes his second free throw shot. 1 second left, but Winston couldn't make the 3. We end the first quarter with 21-18. Kings taking that lead. Low scoring game so far, but Mullins got it, getting into some foul trouble already. Stay tuned, folks. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
泡个温泉，意识飞得越来越远，星星海滩中个音浪，自由穿梭在地图之上。音浪太强不晃，会被撞到地上。音浪太强，
比出2个圈圈，这个应该是很了解的。一起我们比一个奥迪 ，nice 哦。广成跟着我们一起比，我们的 Ken 一起比一个圈圈。 欢迎来到新庄体育馆啊！跟小齐凑一下，我们4个圈圈 ，OK，OK。 跟着我们简佑哲以及我们舒适圈一起比出4个圈圈，让我们奥迪 Ken 进化不止于此。
跳水跳到陌生太空，新的开头，新的宇宙，能接受我这个流星的自由，喜欢节奏越来越重，越来越猛。
欢迎谢金颖、王柏吉一起来到我们新庄体育馆，我们4个圈圈欢迎你们一起来支持我们新北国王。这个位置看球应该是蛮震撼的啦。还有可以哦，穿上了我们今天进场的黄色 T 恤。Yes sir。这是刚毕业吗？祝你毕业快乐。我们的球迷朋友们，有时候会出现在我们大荧幕哦，可以注意一下哦。我们大佩也来到我们现场，欢迎来到新庄体育馆。
Welcome back to my PLG Finals Game 1. Here we have Audi Executive doing some hand signals on the court side right now. Score 21-18. Kings have the lead.
One of the notable things from the first quarter, of course, look across the board, generically, you could say low shooting percentages. One thing we came into the game with was these are the top 2 3-point shooting teams in the league, but at the start of the game, the Braves 1 for 5, the Kings only 1 for 11. We were kind of looking forward to a fireworks show, but 3 quarters left. We'll see if they could get things going.
We kick off second quarter by Team Un, Zaitsev, Singletary, as well as Smart and Beast on the court for the Braves. Beast for a mid-range jumper, too short. Kyle gets the ball back.
180-centimeter Lee Kayan looks like he got the block on Beast with that slightly fading away shot.
Kyle bounce passes it. Venti once again with the possession with 3 seconds left. Davis, last-ditch effort, tried to go in for a shot.
That time got Brendan Smart on the hardwood.
Coming in for that lay-in. Sushi didn't set foot. Couldn't stop the Ukrainian.
Braves still in their man defense, though sagging off the Kings quite a bit.
Davis pumps fakes in. 3 seconds left. Passes it to Smart.
Might have been a deflection in there by Singletary.
By Tingan. To Singletary. Notice that every time Tingan is on the court, the pace definitely speeds up. With the possession, lobs it to Zaitsev. Zaitsev spraying up to the hook. Makes a 3, surefire.
That time was the effort of Brendan Smart batting it out. And of course, that's your best opportunities for 3-pointers is on a missed shot on the offensive end.
Kyle finds a wide open Sushi. Hands off to Venti. Venti from deep goes in for 3 and nothing but net.
They only made 3 in the first quarter. Amigo and Venti now 1 of 3 from beyond the arc.
Lighting on at the corner. Goes in for a mid-range shot. Kyle fast breaking it towards King side. Lighting on trips up. Ball goes out of bounds though. Braves possession. We got some subs in. Got the kids coming in.
On that previous possession, going under the screen there, and Venti letting off some steam, finally expecting a lot out of his own stroke. During the regular season, improved himself into the 40s for a lot of the season. There's a switch and almost
overlooked pass. Venti tries to intercept it, but tips it out of bounds. Manigal coming in for Ling Jingbang.
Ling Jingbang's playing a little bit more than certainly the last series where he was only coming in for some cosmetic minutes. But in this series, maybe Ryan Marchand wants to spread the defensive burden.
3 seconds left on the clock. For 3.
And immediately a timeout by the Kings after a couple sequences don't go their way. Smart only attempted 5 shots in the entire last series, but they'll send us to timeout.
Pendulum has swung. 28-24 is the score. Stay tuned for more P.LEAGUE basketball. We'll be right back.
是2个人一组，2个人一组。来，我们派出我们最会丢球的工作人员。2楼的朋友，好不好？给我一点尖叫声！哇，来哦！另外一边的朋友，把你们的双手借给我。然后楼上的朋友，把你们的双手举起来，没错。Let's go！ 哎，太夸张了吧！ 我看的就是那一位，你还真的丢给那一位。
欢迎大佩、王柏杰、谢晋、张广成，欢迎你们来到新庄体育馆，海景第一排。希望等一下呢，我们的球员会在你面前灌篮，好不好
？Welcome back to another P.LEAGUE broadcast. Ryan, we got some celebrities in the house today.
Yeah, in Xinzhuang, whether it's the top of the Kings organization or the connections they can make, they sure really fill out the lower section with notable people. Now this particular group on the visitors side behind the visitors basket, so that would be the Braves. As you can see, some members of the media and staff sitting behind them. On the other side is the home side where the Kings family and friends sit. Well, the arena is sold out, 6,540, including the Kings cheering section on the balcony behind the visitors bench. Members of the Thai family also in attendance, sitting courtside close to us.
Venti pushed out to halfway in the court. Kyle at the corner. Shot clock counts down. Draws a foul.
Only the first of the quarter, as it looked like KJ might have took a little bit of a hit to the lips there. But maybe could have Chen to blame for he was reaching in. But again, the Braves are trying to up the pressure themselves, sending a lot of double teams on these handoffs or pick and roll action.
Shot clock set to 14 seconds. As once again, Venti handling the ball out to Q. Double teamed by Stewart and Singletary. Again, you see that tough defense by the Braves. They quickly go back into transition to offense. Zheng Xianjun draws an and one.
The Braves going to a small lineup, but Zheng Xianjun in there at the right spot. Thanks to the feed by, in this case, TJ Jintingzhao, who, despite being a rookie, is actually 25 years old. So he's actually one of the older of the Braves, though a lot of his teammates have been playing with the program for 3 years, including Zheng Xianjun and Brandon Smart, and also Zhou Guiyu in there.
So you're saying he's the elder one?
No, he's the elder one. But a rookie like a vet. Spent time in the States and had his moments during the regular season as well, as Zheng Xianjun completes the three-point play.
Jintingzhao was also announced to be on the Chinese Taipei white team.
That's the national team, where the blue team is the developmental team. As
Davis comes in, turns around, and gets another field goal. A couple of other players in the series on the national white team. We got Chen for the Kings, as well as Hong Kai-jie, KJ in the white team. It's an interesting mix of players from the Plus League. We got Kenny Chen as well in the team, as well as a couple of American players, the Hinton twins, Adam and Robert Hinton, as Q Davis passes it out to Venti, but Braves coming back in time to stop the Kings, but Sushi denied by the Braves. Still going to be Kings possession here, though.
That time it was Zheng Xiangjun, a big-on-big block. You can give credit to Big Sushi for a big block against Aji in the later stretches of the game. But this time, getting a taste of what it's like to have it stuffed.
Behind the back here, you see it, the replay.
And then Ira Zaisev's back in the game, so even more paint protection. While the Kings are gonna only have Quincy Davis in that big.
Go Lin passes it back to Q Davis. Davis is one-hand slammer up against Zaisev.
Kind of wondering why he was keep on making weird jab steps and shot fakes, but that was all a ruse.
Ball gets popped out to the perimeter. Zhou Xiangjun tries to go in for three. That rolls off behind the backboard.
Decent looking arc by Zhou, but it seemed pretty early in the shot clock.
Zhou, excuse me.
Double drag here to get Amigo free.
Manigault through into the paint. Gets another lay-in.
This time it's the Braves who will call timeout, who have not adjusted to the Kings going small. And the key to this part is Kenny Manigault had the mismatch against Zheng Xiangjun, and so he went right at him. And Coach Roger probably not happy about the Quincy Davis move earlier. That's because Zaisev was so adamant that he got a hook to the back to keep him from playing defense. So last year, the Kings only had 2 home games in that first round against the Lioneers, and this year, they took care of business in 2 games against the Dreamers, and now, when you go into the playoffs, you start with 2 games at home. And home court advantage in Game 5 and 7 if the series will move on. There on the screen is Sage Roger telling the pupil in Marchand that he wants to get his younger players involved from left to right. Josh Zhou, Jian Tingzao, TJ, KJ, Hong Kai-jie, and Zheng Xiangjun all seeing their minutes played at a pretty reasonable mark. Certainly at least enough to let those boys feel involved and get a taste of obviously the regular season, and they've been registered for every single game of the playoffs, as well as we got to hear from Winston Taiwanton about the kids.
你一直输球，你就算打这么好，你也吸不取到经验嘛。因为你最主要的是赢球。你只要今天你可以帮助球队赢球，就会变成说，我如何在什么时间点该做什么事情，可以让球队赢球。其实我觉得这就是他可以知道跟吸收赢球的重点，就是变成说是赢球的经验这样子。
Ryan, you talked about how the younger players have quite a lot of opportunities to play a lot more this season, but you know they also have the insurance of the veteran players. So you know we talked about before the game, if the younger players are not up to snuff in that moment's notice, we still got Taiwanton Beast as well as Jet to come in.
And out of the timeout, it's Beast, guarded initially by Joseph Lin. We'll see if they stick with their defensive assignments. Right away, they get it to him on the handoff. And again, but this time, call for the traveling as he hesitated. But it's pretty clear that the Braves had that package in mind, and maybe you want to get Beast involved with the action, as on the game, he does have 6 points already.
Jet checking into the game. There we go. Amigo pulls up for another mid-range jumper.
Amigo, one of those players you don't mind taking long twos. Now it's only the second team foul by the Kings, but Amigo communicating with Davis. We don't need to be that aggressive out there, as you see the replay of the shot on the curl.
Jet just outside the paint, goes in for the fadeaway shot that goes around and out. He's gonna go in for the second try for 3. Way too high there as Joe gets the ball back. I look past to Venti, and Venti for 3, and it's good!
Missed opportunity on one side is somebody else's opportunity on the other side. Jet, a couple chances in that corner. And when Chen Xiangjun couldn't get the rebound, it was a huge advantage for the Kings going the other way, with Venti starting to get hot.
Coach Xu calling in the timeout. 35-31. The score just like that. Kings swing it back to their lead.
Venti was only 1-6 in the last series, but as mentioned during the regular season, saw his percentage raise considerably. In fact, if I could finally find him on my list, I'm just at almost a 40% shooter and 31 for 79, and sending us to our last timeout.
Coach Marchand still having Mullins sit out.
But you don't feel too bad about the Kings defense, because the Braves right now have a lot of very quick decisions and very early shots in the shot clock, not running through all their options in their half-court offense. And so the pace of playoff basketball, at least in this playoff run, has already reduced. You don't want to be cheapening yourself out of quality shots and, in fact, giving your opponents the momentum to run and score easy ones on you. So again, Beast is staying out there, but it looks like the Braves will be going with maybe their best lineup, with Jet at point guard and Chen Xiangjun at the power forward. Finally out of the timeout, the Kings staying small with, again, Kenny Manigault kind of playing the power forward position. And they're applying a little bit of pressure, because it's been working in the fact that it doesn't obviously cause a turnover, but forces the Braves to execute much better in the half court, and they have not done that very well in the first half.
Then Xiangjun one-on-one up against Amigo. Tries to pull through with 2. Ball gets fumbled around. Davis gets that defensive rebound.
Well, it was a pretty decent possession, but maybe Chen Xiangjun not used to having a mismatch on the post-up. Caught himself a little bit too deep. Again, they're looking for Davis, even though he's got Zaisev guarding him.
Manigault just gonna bring it in himself. Manages to get in that lay-in.
Impressive, because it's over Igor Zaisev on the switch, and still taking him inside.
Jet pops it back out to the perimeter. Zaisev comes in, turns around. Get another field goal in, 37-33. Kings bringing back the lead.
And that was just an easy deep post-up like this side with Davis, but this time he's trapped. But a foul, as Jet was helping out down low. But both teams are employing the same strategy. You want to get an early position down low. That time Davis on Singletary, providing the screening action. But here, getting around Jet, who reached back in, and more Quincy Davis free throws. During the playoffs, Davis has hit on 7 of 8.
Zhou back in the game as that first free throw goes around and out of the rim.
Well, that's interesting because that means the Braves don't exactly have a traditional power forward, and Michael Singletary will kind of fill in. So in essence, both teams playing with 4 perimeter players and 1 big.
Beast pops it back out to the perimeter, and it's Singletary up against Venti.
A little unlucky there.
Couldn't get the shot in.
It's kind of one of those half screen, half handoff, half post ups between Davis and a perimeter player. But now they got the mismatch.
Shot clock is counting down. Manacal's got to make some moves. That three-point shot way too short. Zaitsev brings it back to Beast. Back and forth to Zaitsev. He loses grip of the ball. Venti brings it back. Coast to coast to so laying the ground.
Again, the Braves make a little bit of a mistake. Zaitsev didn't catch it securely, and Davis might have been arguing with the referees, but it paid off that time with kind of a cherry-picked dunk there.
Beast at the corner. He drives it in to Jet. Jet puts over a teardrop shot, draws a foul. It's another one for Davis.
Took a hard fall, but it looks like Jet back up on his feet, ready to go.
Davis's 3rd foul tonight.
That'll be big, but you see on the previous play, Venti came back and then delivered the 3/4 court pass right on the money.
Seeing Mullins finally checking in with 3 minutes, 24 seconds left in this quarter.
Jet kind of have an up and down season, but in the series against the Pilots kind of found himself, especially 15 really difficult but impressive points in the closeout game. Overall, 14.7 in just the 3 games. Got the mismatch by Mullins, but he doubled.
Once again, the 3. Beast loses the ball, but it's still going to be Braves' possession.
Kenny Manigault, #1 steal man of the Plus League. Always got to be careful where he is, whether he can steal it off the dribble or especially off the pass. That time kind of in between. He was out of bounds and touched the basketball. So the Braves kind of lucky in transition. Again, they're trying to get the zipper cut for Beast.
Jet at the baseline. That bounces out. Maybe he's going to try again as he goes towards the paint, tries to find his teammate, but Joe Lin snacks it out of Zhou possession. Mullins comes in, taps in. Outlook pass out, way out to Zhou as he was trying to get back into the game, but gets out of bounds.
Getting back in transition as the Braves were down a man, as you said there on the alley-oop, but good hustle by Lee Kai-yin. Dutiful as the guard, the last guy back, to get back. Quickly on the inbound, Zaitsev over Mullins, of course, who's got to play with that foul. And you see a lot of that tape on his left leg. Said by Coach Marchand, he got probably what we can guess is a little bit of a leg contusion, but he's playing through it.
I mean, he did mention nothing is structural. Jet snags the ball back to the Braves. Gonna come in for a fadeaway shot. High ricochet off to Singletary, and Zaitsev wide open, going for 3 off target.
Here, Zaitsev hit that early one, but has not looked that comfortable from the perimeter. And again, out of bounds. But Amigo going at Josh Okoye, who's can't really be beaten by Amigo based on the physicality and size. Maybe more or less unlucky on that play.
Got KJ checking into the game.
And again, the Kings showing some pressure, even if there's mismatches up ahead.
Singletary going one-on-one up against Manigal. Manages to pull two.
Kind of taking a page out of KJ Honkaiji's book with the step-through push shot. If you miss it, you'd be well on your way to a rebound. That time banks it in and forcing the Kings to take their last time out of the half.
Plenty of ball left, 1.5 minutes left in this quarter.
And so for both teams, you kind of feel like you're not in any panic. Maybe the Kings have to manage their foul situation by Davis and Mullins, but they've also shown that they can really counter really well on the stops against the Braves, who really not unlocked their offense. But on their side, you also feel like the efforts at Zhang Chen and Zaitsev, when they're in position,
go through, hit, set the cross screen, and then Amigo flash after. Shoulder three.
As we mentioned, both teams have not shown
if it's just man, gonna go 52 up.
So nobody's really broken
Amigo,
open the game yet.
Byron, Joe, Kyle, Kenny, set it. See if you can get on the curl. If not, with their switching, Biggs, start slipping. You gotta start slipping, those switches. Attack, stick to show with you. Drop your shoulder, go over the top, and keep driving. Shoulder three, or 52 up. No more timeouts. Minute 29, we gotta be more than +3 going into the half. Here we go, fellas. Together on three. 1, 2, 3.
So that's the benefit you have when you're the coach to call the last timeout. You can really obviously dictate when it takes place, but also maybe try to finish strong. And the Kings, when they played the Dreamers here in Xinzhuang, won both games by 19 points. You got to always be wary about that halftime adjustment, as at least in game 2, the Dreamers jumped out to a 5-point lead thanks to Ilkan Kahneman scoring a game high, I believe it was 29 points. But then they righted their ship, and against the Braves, who have obviously won 2 championships, you know that they can make a run at any time. KJ's back in there for defense.
Manigal at the baseline for 3, too short.
The Kings are doing a good job getting back on defense. That's been a problem for any team in the history of basketball.
Gently for the teardrop shot. As Manigal finds Amigo. High ricochet off of the hoop, but quickly, just like that, Gently bringing it back to the Braves side. And for 3. Once again, can't seem to get those perimeter shots in. As Joe from Palo Alto goes in.
Kind of playing the numbers game there for both teams, trying to get that 2-for-1 going. As we have right now just about a 9.5-second shot clock, game clock difference.
Wide open, couldn't execute that shot right there. Mullins to Manigal.
Now, despite having numbers, the Kings will slow it up. Let's see if it pays off for them. They're setting up a double screen for Manigal, who rejects it.
3 seconds left to go, draws a foul.
Well, that's the athleticism of Manigal on display, denying the double screen and going to his left. He's actually much more favorable driving to his right, but that time Singletary came down to help and couldn't get a clean block. But Manigault kind of working something off of his legs, maybe on the hit or on the fall. And always a question of when these nicks and bruises, if they'll tighten up during the halftime break. So to protect Byron Mullins, he's going to get subbed out. During the last playoff series, Manigault was 9 for 10 from the line, but missing the first one here.
Manigault getting ready for his second free throw shot. Able to meet Coach Marchand's expectations of getting at least a 3-point lead up against the Braves before halftime. 1 second, coast-to-coast pass to Jet. Tries to go in for the buzzer beater. Rattles out. Just like that, we conclude the first half, 43-39, despite Mullins and Davis's foul troubles. Kings are still being able to get that lead. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back for more Plus League basketball.
这是我们的中场游戏，奥迪车图拼一拼。让我来为后面的4位幸运的球迷朋友来介绍一下我们的游戏规则。我们呢2人一组，2人一组，然后进行同时往这个，我们会在中间啊，同时假设你们2个人一组，对不对？你往这边上篮，你往这边上篮。如果呢2个人都要上篮成功，然后才能回来中间翻一块板子，然后要翻到一样的才 OK。抱歉，会错意，是整个拼起来变成一台车，就像拼拼图一样。所以上完篮之后，2个人会回来翻各1片拼图 ，OK 吗？所以总共呢翻大概3趟 ，OK 吗？就是速度越快越好了。2个同时进行，同时上篮。没，对，你们2组是分开的哈。对，没有关系。我们先从这一组，你们就知道啊。对，我们会计算你们的秒数，OK， 那我们先女士优先吗？确定？好 ，OK， 那我们女士优先。好，我们小心不要受伤，来，我们各自到这个。好，等我说3、2、1的时候，才可以往篮筐移动哦。那我们要投篮成功才可以回来翻牌哦。另外一个朋友呢，如果像这位女士她进的话，你还没进，那你要投到进为止，她才可以翻牌哦。OK， 好，那我们来准备，3、2、1，出发！好的。双方都还没有进球，好的，我们男生这边已经进，好，女生那边也进了，快速回来中间，赶快翻开拼图 ，OK， 好，小心，我们不要受伤，好 ，OK， 我们再一次出发，加油，来，可以近一点没关系，好球，稍等一下，好球。好，我们这位美女还非常认真哦，连回来的时候都要运球哦，专业。投出，哎，2边都还没有进球，时间继续进行 ，OK， 2边都一起进了球，最后一个拼图拼过，打开来之后记得要拼好啊。把图给拼出来，就近，方向要一样哦。
Plus League 2022-23 Finals. We're here live at Xingzhuang Stadium. For those who just missed out on the first half, it's 43-39. Kings taking the lead in Game 1 of the series.
Of course, these two teams, the Braves from Taipei, the Kings from New Taipei, so both part of the quote-unquote greater Taipei metro area. That's why we call it the MRT series, as you see members of the Wang family and members of the Tai family talking to each other, and Matt Breyer and some of his ESL colleagues, East Asia Super League colleagues, talking with Blackie Charles Chen. So it's a big event here with the Plus League finals, and maybe so far the start of the game has not had the most fireworks in terms of scoring out there, but we can maybe look forward to teams making their adjustment and finding the spaces and the opportunities to really pick up their offensive game in the second half. Taylor, did you feel like the pace of the game, despite being fast, it probably doesn't see the most scoring at the highest clip we come to expect from these two teams?
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of fast breaks going on, but the pace definitely felt a little bit clanky, a little bit inconsistent. You see on the screen right now, scoring percentages has definitely a lot of room for improvement, especially when it comes to 3-point percentages. Braves at 27 and Kings lagging behind with 16%, only making 3 of their 3-point shots, rebounds. A little bit neck and neck, 26 for Braves, 24 for the Kings, and turnovers, they're both equal at 6.
Now, despite that 6-6 number, it definitely feels like there's plenty of, maybe partly because of the credit of the defense, the Kings especially pushing Zaitsev way out to the half circle, to the jump circle, which makes it hard for them to start their offense. And on the Braves side, they've been executing a lot of double teams and forcing the Kings to rotate around. So that partly explains why they have more assists. But the way that the Kings are able to rotate around, they can recover a lot of the times on the defensive end. And so on the Kings side, Amigos obviously found the holes to score, and as we mentioned, Zaitsev and Jack Zenshan have done a pretty decent job when they can get back and protect the paint. But on the Braves offensive side, especially Jed has struggled to hit those shots, albeit they're on the harder difficulty, so you'd expect Roger to rotate his side a lot more. In fact, all 13 Braves have made it onto the floor. Now, free throw shooting will also be a big note for this game, and not shown on the screen, but the Braves are 10 for 13, and the Kings not too far behind, but 8 for 12. And as we mentioned, the individual foul count, no Braves have more than 2 fouls, but Byron Mullins and Quincy Davis with 3 apiece, though you feel like they've managed it pretty okay in the first half. After the upcoming break, we'll be coming up with the leading scorers for the two teams as we continue on with our broadcast of Game 1 here in the Plus League Finals.
来准备，3、2、1，好，后面还有，来准备，3、2、1。好的，恭喜以上这4位，也恭喜我们这2位优胜者。然后获胜者就可以获得我们这个欧力 R8的模型车1人1台，谢谢你们，谢谢。那我们呢，在现场的球迷朋友们，你们呢也可以把目光先放到上方的大荧幕，看看自己呢在我们的新庄城堡内有没有被我们的导播给捕捉到。Hello， 我们新庄城堡的球迷你好。哎呦，这位刚刚非常的嗨。OK。Hello。这是我们的 Coach Mark。还有人帮他做那个专属的 T 恤哦。哎，是我们的这个新北国王的好朋友啊，也来到我们的现场。Hello， 跟我们的大荧幕挥挥手。 Hello，来，我们来往下一位前进啊！来，我闻到自拍的味道了。这个拿着粉红色手机壳的朋友，哎，就是你，不用怀疑，我们可以隔着这个大荧幕对话。你好，来跟大家挥挥手好吗 ？Hello， 欢迎你们来到我们的现场。Hello， 这位正在嘟着嘴的朋友，你好，欢迎来到我们的新庄城堡。希望你来到我们的城堡可以玩得开心。Hello， 我们场边的球迷朋友们，我们来看一下上方大荧幕，来跟大家一起打个招呼，挥挥手好吗？Hello， 我们新庄城堡的球迷朋友们 ，Hello， 没错 ，Hello。Hello， 我们的小 Chris， 欢迎来到我们的现场，来跟大家打个招呼好吗？
Game 1 finals at Xinzhuang Stadium. Look at that. We got Mike Laurie, previously played a pitcher for the Fubon Guardians. He's here on a special trip to promote his new book, Legendary 39.
The big thing about Mike Laurie up to this point in his, you could so-call say, career, as he came in for one inning as a domestic pitcher in the CPBL, finally achieving that stat after 9 years of service in the CPBL, and he's set the standard, and so it's going to be quite an interesting journey for the next CPBL local player to get naturalized, shall we say.
On the screen right now, our score rankings. Zaisev coming in 14 points, Beast with 6, Singletary with 5, Jet 4, and Smart with 3 points. Again, talk about Zaisev being the more defensively sound players, but his three-point shooting, we also brought it up before, has been the most consistent amongst all of the import players of PLEAGUE. And you see him going up against Davis, making three-point shots as well as points in the paint. For the Kings side, we got Amigo 15 points, Davis with 10, as well as Venti coming off of the bench 6 points, Sushi with 5, and Manigold 5 points as well.
So not the people we've expected to provide a lot of the scoring, but Zaisev can get it done with obviously the moves we saw from the highlight package, but more or less usually playing the cog in the Braves offense, finding his teammates, but in this particular game, they're pressuring him so much that he's actually finding some driving opportunities as well. But on the Kings side, this happens all the time. Kenny Manigault might have a very quiet offensive first half, but burst on the scene later in the game. But of course, we're here at the home of last year's MVP and a strong candidate this year, Amigo Yang Jiming, actually known for his outside shooting now in the PLEAGUE, but showing off some of those dribble drives as well. And then, you know, we throw in an occasional fast break where he's able to contort his body for the score. But Amigo, you would expect him to be the scoring focal point, and you can actually say the Braves have done not a great job defending him. But on the Kings defensive side, you can give them a lot of good credit. They're kind of forcing Jet to be the one to score, and at least on this game, he's only 1 for 10. And so that's one of the biggest gaps in the Braves scoring so far in the game, as we have one more timeout and a couple minutes before the start of the second half.
Yeah， 哇，这个牌子也太有心了吧 ！New Taipei Kings。 小敏，等等，这个不是迎风的老婆啊，是我们的敏哥跟小敏啊，我们的大小敏连线啊，从这个照片就可以慢慢的呈现啊。Hello， 欢迎来到我们的新庄城堡。对，那是你。刚刚是不是看大荧幕，差点认不出自己 ？Hello， yeah，welcome to the new Taipei Castle。All right。Hello， 欢迎我来到我们的新庄城堡，可以跟我们的上方那一幕打个招呼。我们精彩的比赛在20秒后准备正式开始。
I shoot a pull up in them Jeep trucks. We shoot at your gang, switch it through lanes. Strike hard, kicking out, keep on. We shoot at your gang, switch it through lanes. Strike hard, kicking out, keep on. Pull me in since I'm geeked out. Like, I shoot a pull up in them Jeep trucks. We shoot at your gang, switch it through lanes. Strike hard, kicking out, keep on. We shoot at your gang, switch it through lanes. Strike hard, kicking out, keep on. XD with a stick, attached to the beam, so I know I won't miss. Let him run, he get left like he raped. Bullets burn him, watch him twitch. Tabby got left in the lift. How you all looking up for a hit? And it does to the seats of my. I try to sprint through and hang out the whip. Trying to hit it goofy in it. One guy hit his back and he tripped, and the other one almost like a.
身上穿的是我们敏哥 MVP 纪念 T， 没错，这就是专业，这就是 professional， 很好。Hello， 欢迎来到我们新庄城堡。哦，我们满满的国王球迷朋友们，你们好！全部一起来跟着我们的大一位来挥挥手吧！感谢你们的热情，在里面是不是看到2个苏伟啊？哦，有，看到了，还有 Manigo 也在里面 ，All right。第3节一样保持我们国王的气势。
Welcome back to Game 1 Finals between the New Taipei Kings and the Fubon Braves. Score 43-39. On the court, we have our starting 5 for the Kings, and for the Braves, we got Zhou Guiyu and Zhen Xiangjun, Saisef, Singletary, as well as Jet.
Maybe Coach Roger wants the Braves to have a few more guys who can run the point between obviously Jet, Michael Singletary, and Josh Zhou Guiyu, who's in for KJ.
See on the screen, James Mao, GM of the Kings. Hey, look at the score. Jolin has been a little bit more quiet today. Has yet to make a field goal so far. We're going to see what Coach Marchand has the Kings to adjust.
There's a foul, but to answer that point, it seems almost intentional as the Braves, especially when Joseph has the ball, often blitz him with a double team. Not so much here, as it seemed like Zhen Xiangjun called for a foul when he wanted to be called for out of bounds, but it will be a baseline out of bounds for the Kings.
High overhand pass out to Mullins. And Sushi squares up to the hill for 3. And Mullins passes it to Jet. Zhen Xiangjun tries to go in for 2, draws a foul. It's going to be another one called on Sushi.
But that was an excellent pass by Jet in transition. Mullins almost got a long tip out to his teammates, and it turned into an opportunity for the Braves. There you see one hand with the right hand, and Zhen Xiangjun is probably going to be told by his teammates he's got to finish that. Obviously, earned a lot of sneakers this year, thanks to dunking the basketball, but Sushi had a hand on his back. Joe came in there a little bit. Not that easy, though. He's got to make an adjustment, as that first free throw was way too short.
do I get this correct? Every time a local player dunks, they get a pair of shoes?
That is correct, thanks to Area Linger.
So Xiangjun tries to intercept the ball that goes out of bounds, grazes his fingers. With 12 seconds left on the shot clock.
So 2 possessions in a row. The Kings trying to find some space on the left side. And there's a Braves deflection. Good friends in Jed and Joe guarding each other right now.
One-on-one, Singletary up against Manical. Hands off to Amigo with just the buzzer going off. Was off target. Once again, Jed bounce passes. Chen getting the 2 points this time.
Kind of found himself more open than he thought as not all the Kings got back on defense.
Overhead pass, Sushi for 3 at the corner.
Now that's one weakness in Sushi's game as a power forward. He does not have a really good deep shot.
Then Xiangjun again off target.
Zhen Xiangjun's worked on that, and usually he's very sure-handed with those runners.
Bicep, a lot of hands on Jolin, and Jolin finds Sushi. Short of the ball, Zaitsev bringing it back to Singletary.
So it seems pretty intentional that the Braves are going to help off Big Sushi, especially when he's outside.
Zaitsev, with all the time in the world, couldn't get that shot in.
Hit 2 in the first half, but missing his first here, though. This is one of those cases where it's almost better to have some defense on you to get you in rhythm. Like you said, he was left so wide open that the hesitation was a bigger obstacle than the defense.
9 minutes, 45 seconds left in the game. Kings have yet to score in the second half as Jet comes in for the lay-in.
Braves on a little bit of run, but Marchand letting his guys play.
Manigal pops it back out to Mullins. Asks it to be a travel call. It's back to the Braves.
One of those classic, you can't decide if you want to go right or left, and end up going both ways with your feet. Called for a travel. And that scoring drought for the Kings will continue on to the 3rd minute.
Once again, Zaitsev at the top. We rarely see that. He's coming into the paint. Let's see if he gets that rebound. Pops it back out to Singletary. Singletary deep. Once again, that 3-point shot way too short.
This scoring between these two teams, not the highest in the Plus League in the head-to-head matchups, but certainly expect a lot as Josh with nice footwork there.
Tough defense on Amigo, but he comes in, turns around. Once again, the shot is too short. Sushi tumbling the ball around, and Singletary finds Chen Xiangjun. Chen Xiangjun quickly coming back into offense, but the ball slips as well as Xiangjun.
I didn't realize they were practicing feet first slides out there.
I didn't know there was a slip and slide out there.
I mean, that's one of those interesting situations. Chen Xiangjun, not the ideal guy to be running a fast break, and Kenny Manigault and him kind of tied up there. Hopefully both guys are all right, as Xiangjun obviously kind of caught under. Manigault took a shot to the face inadvertently.
Forward up against forward. Sushi draws a foul.
And then a foul. It looks like the lack of scoring has kind of led to some frustrations, as you see Big Sushi hand to the face.
Second foul today.
And a second team foul on the Braves. Just a common foul.
Bumps Chen Xiangjun in the face. Once again, he's at the top up against Sushi. With 6 seconds left on the shot clock, Jet's all alone. He's sandwiched between Sushi and Jolin. And once again, Zaitsev for 3 at once. Too short. Right before the buzzer beater, Jolin brings that ball back to the Kings. Pops it to Manigault. And Manigault for the mid-range jumper. Swishes it in.
Finally ending the scoreless streak on the other side. The Kings wanted to travel against Jet, but it turned into a stop anyways, and the score on the other end.
Chen lobs it to the paint, but once again, Singletary, he's going to do it to himself for the layup.
Taking on Byron Mullins again. If you need the reminder, 3 personal fouls. With every passing minute, it becomes less of a deal, but it will affect how much and how aggressive Mullins is with the help.
Manigal at the perimeter finds an open Sushi. Still can't get those shots in the baseline in. Once again, Braves quickly bringing it back to their side. Zhenzhen double team, hands it off to Singletary. Zaitsev at the top, cuts through into the paint, goes in for 2. That was gnarly.
Trying to argue he got hit on the layup as well, but the refs not giving it to him. He made the basket, they said. It didn't affect him enough. And again, look, Byron Mullins.
Tries to go for an alley-oop, and he makes 2.
That time, an expert pass. Zaitsev has got to lace him up. And our television timeout coming up. But again, a perfect pass, and it looks like right now, the Braves started off strong in the half, but the Kings also settling in with the exploits of one Kenny Manigault.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this TV timeout.
I'm a trendsetter, fashion killer, supermodel. Like model, like song, follow my beat.
我们楼上呢也有啦啦队 Queens 呢在丢海报，所以2楼、3楼的朋友都一起注意一下哦。
大家记得我们2楼呢也有我们的新北国王啦啦队 Queens， 然后呢一起跟着我们丢礼物给大家，所以呢大家千万都不要气馁，2楼的朋友你们也都有机会。
Welcome back. We're live at Xinjiang Stadium at a sold-out crowd for Game 1. Fubon Braves lead by 1 point. 48-47 is the score right now.
And of course, just like in the first half, Quincy Davis, the first one off the bench for the Kings. As this time, though, they're going to be trusting James Big Sushi. Even though he's 0 for 4 on the quarter shooting, he is shooting open shots to his credit. So just waiting for one to fall, maybe to catch some rhythm. He is capable of all these different kinds of shots. Maybe the perimeter ones might be a little bit risky. And the Braves sticking with their lineup last on the floor.
We start off once again from the TV timeout. Jet Li finding so much space in the paint. Couldn't execute, but Zaitsev right behind him comes back for the putback.
Again, that's the individual skills of Jet, Zhang Zhongxin, and then Zaitsev partly providing a screen, partly in there for rebounding as he's in a fight with Quincy Davis down low.
Is that tough defense once again, and Zhenzhen once again slips back, and Manigault couldn't get in that 3-point shot.
Kenny Manigault's actually kind of gone cold ever since Game 2 here in Xinjiang, where he hit 7 3-pointers en route to 35 points. There's a foul first, as again the Kings are frustrated by not a travel call.
Take a look at that replay.
There's a hand in, though, I'm sure.
Ooh, I see some tap dancing going on right there.
The referee could say that Joseph's physicality was what caused the travel. But this time,
there we go. That's that travel call. It was meant to be after all.
This time with Zheng not only switching pivot feet, but also tapping at 1-2 again.
footwork seems to be a little bit off today. He slipped quite a few times and had that travel call just now.
To be fair, that last possession, he got bumped in by Joseph, who is a monster in the weight room, despite maybe not looking the part.
Joe Lynn finally making a field goal. 50 all.
The Braves certainly hoping that's the last one they see from Joseph Lin. They know him well.
The side pass from Chen to Zaisev, and Zaisev to Jet Li. Oh.
Back the other way they go.
Got some bodies hitting the floor.
Sure, nobody's happy, but it's a double foul between Zaisev and Quincy Davis as Zaisev goes to the other side of the block. And this is definitely one of those situations where, based on the replay, it's pretty clear that Davis starts the contact, but Zaisev falling on the floor is what the referees can say, you weren't playing it cleanly either.
You see him bringing Davis down too. Double foul call. Davis is coming out as Kyle checks in.
And some confusion with the King substitutions, but Mullins, Amigo, Kyle, Manigault, and Joseph out there.
Manigault running the clock, goes for an alley-oop. Mullins couldn't execute, though. Pass was a little bit too high. And Singletary finds Sun Xianjun for 2 at the paint.
That may be Chen Xianjun's best asset, his ability to run in the fast break and provide a big, even though he might be not the tallest, but a guy who can score down low on mismatches.
Just when the Braves weren't paying attention, Joe Lynn coming in for another.
That time using great body control.
Singletary crosses over the baseline. It's going to be King's possession.
And that's one of those situations where he kind of played into the defense. The double team came and he didn't pass out of it, as you see Joseph with the misdirection and scoring on Josh. And if not for the toe dancing, Manigault got his hand on the basketball. A zone defense by the Braves.
Amigo comes out to the perimeter. Quick passes to Kyle at the corner and drops in another 3 for the Kings. Once again, taking the lead, Beast. With the ball, passes it on to Zhou Guiyu.
The Kings had a whole week to get ready for all kinds of Brave zones.
Amigo, back and forth passing between Joe Lynn and Amigo.
Kind of a foul to bail out the Braves defense, who zone was all bent out of shape there. It was only their 3rd team foul, so no free throws.
Second one on Zaisev today. The shot clock set at 14 seconds. And Mullins, Zaisev manages to pull in 3. Getting the crowd going right now.
And he followed up. Kenny Manigault is really in it, pulling in a full effort on defense as the Braves will head to their bench on the timeout.
As expected as a score, Kings have pulled away with 58, Braves 52.
Yeah, right now the Braves are trying things on defense and they're not working out. And on the other side, the problem is that the Kings have made a slight adjustment. They're playing over the top a little bit more, on the wings even. And then now that these threes are kind of correcting themselves to their expected average, it's going to be a big problem for the Braves if they want to stay close. This is kind of what home court advantage means when you go on a run. It seems to last a little longer and to count for a few more points than the visiting team. And interesting enough, Coach Roger hasn't gone away from Zaitsev and Singletary all of this quarter. And that might be a problem if those two guys don't have a lot of rest and might have to go into the fourth quarter. Fatigue will be a big concern too.
Set this here. Go deep, get it on Amigo, swing it, deep seal, deep seal.
It wasn't a sold-out crowd for the first two home games for the Kings here in Xingzhuang in these playoffs. And last year's series against the Lioneers, Game 4 on June 11, 2022, a Saturday, was indeed sold out, and they did quite a number on the Lioneers to force it to Game 5. Immediately, it's Beast with a touch.
Tries to find Zaitsev, and Joe intercepts the ball. The steal, and Mullen gets in for his own rebound, comes in for the putback for himself.
That's definitely a mistake. You don't expect out of a veteran player passing right into, despite maybe a smaller player, but one guarding the passing lane. Now trying to go at a smaller Li Kaiyan.
Pass definitely wasn't high enough. Don't forget, this has a heck of a vertical. He's probably one of the few local players at his height, 5'11", 5'11 and a half, where he could do reverse dunks.
The real chance for the Kings to blow it open.
Joe Lin, too short of a three-point shot. Amigo tries to nab the ball away from Singletary.
Just a simple high screen and roll, though, getting into trouble.
He loses grip of the ball. Kyle passes it to Manigault. The crowd at Xingzhuang Stadium is going mad. Kings pulling the score. Now at a 10-point deficit for the Braves. With 1 minute, 40 seconds left of the clock, Zaitsev, he's coming into the paint, pops it back out to the perimeter. That three-point shot, last-ditch effort by Zogwei was no good, though, as Amigo quickly bringing it back to the Kings side.
Previously on the fast break, the referees letting the Braves go without a foul, and it cost them the score.
See Manigault pushing through, drawing a foul on the Braves. Got subs for both sides.
That time Josh getting on the poster, and that might not be the reason, but he's going to be subbed out for Leitinger. Kenny Manigault, they call him the human helicopter here in Xingzhuang, and the headband back on, he's seemed to be full of life now. On the quarter with that free throw, now 5 points, and ironically enough, it looks like Beast and Singletary and Zaitsev are the culprits for the Braves. They've been out there the longest.
No, we're talking about how the veterans are coming in for the young players, but like you mentioned before, if anything, they're the ones that are causing those turnovers. As Zhen Xiangjun comes in for Brendan Smart. Davis and Venti checked into the game.
Well, the one comforting thing for Roger is in both final series that the Braves have eventually won, as Zaitsev get an easy pick and roll layup. The Braves did lose Game 1 against the Dreamers and Game 1 against the Lioneers, but eventually got up ahead. Now not losing a single game after that point.
As Amigo effortlessly drops in another field goal as the clock keeps counting down.
Well, the Braves were making an early run in the quarter, but the Kings have now shut them down.
Rising on Lucas's grip of the ball once again. Manifold stealing cookies away from the Kings, from the Braves, and Davis comes in, tips the ball in for another two. 68-54 is the score.
Last possession, the Braves only have 15 points on the quarter. Can use a real good look.
Still a lot of high intensity coming from the Kings. As 5 seconds count down, Beast comes in for the lay-in. And Venti tries to go in for that three-point shot before hitting the buzzer. But that's okay. Kings pulling a farther lead. 68-56 is the score now. Kings coming in hot, scoring 25 points. Braves with 17 points. Stay tuned for the last quarter of Game 1. We'll be right back.
跟着你旁边的朋友一起把双手举到头上，比出2个圈，来代表着我们欧迪4环 logo。应援进化，进化不止于此。
I told you, homeboy, you can't touch this. Yeah, that's how we living, and you know, can't touch this. Look in my eyes, man.
Hello， 我们这个2位美女，我们一起跟我们的大苏喜以及我们的柚子比出2个圈，一起比出欧迪4环 logo。Hello， 没错，哇，你们刚好后面也有我们的欧迪 logo， 完全对应到，可以。Hello， 哇，是我们的这个常常进场的球迷朋友，欢迎你到我们的现场，请继续支持我们新北国王。Hello。3、2、1 Let's go！ Hello， 谢谢你们来到我们的现场。Hello， 我们一起比出2个圈圈好吗？让我们进化不止于此。That's right。已经比好了，已经比好了，没错。Yeah。Hello， 2位朋友，欢迎来到我们的现场。
Oh My Basketball 是我本人在 Ivy Bar 学英文吧，教你篮球的英文术语，搭配 Plus 的影片，打造全新的线上课程，欢迎大家点阅资讯栏一起学习。As we let out of the third quarter, it was a strong run by the Kings. They committed 3 turnovers early in the quarter, but only 1 after. 5 by the Braves, and 0 for 7 3-point shooting is where we find ourselves here in the 4th and final frame. Byron Mullins starting things on the bench, but the home Kings sitting comfortable as of right now with a 12-point lead.
Really seeing the Kings take advantage of all of the turnovers that the Braves have made in the last quarter, as Braves have quite a bit to catch up on. But we got plenty of game left. We got a whole quarter left in this game. Starting off on the court, we got Winston back in it.
This is the famous Roger 3-2 zone, but it's the challenge in that corner for Chen Xiangqun.
Kyle drops in another 3.
He's been hot on the game in the limited minutes he's played. The 3-pointers are big for the Kings.
And Beast behind, back to Chen Xiangqun, but couldn't execute. And Amigo, quick transition, tries to get in 3 himself. You see the pace really quicken with the kids on the court right now. Winston for 3, and there he comes. They got another 3-pointer.
Well, Winston's actually shot pretty poorly this season, less than 30%. In the playoffs, he hasn't played very much. Only attempted 14 shots in that last series, and only hit on 3 of them.
Ventita Amigo blocked by Winston, but they're gonna count that as a foul.
Maybe some frustrations, but Winston, it's not that easy to get up with his experience, though. The three-pointer made has got to be relief. There you see.
That's such a diplomatic way of putting it.
Flicking the forearm is the foul, and as much as Winston might look frustrated, it was indeed a foul.
With that foul, Amigo is now at the charity stripe. Cowbells are going off. That's his first one.
After Zaitsev's 20 points, Amigo's 18 is the highest mark in the game. Certainly a man on a mission.
2 for 2. That number 10, JJ, coming in for the first time in this game. Danielza previously played for the Taiwan Beer from 2017 to 2021. Zaitsev tried to pass it to Beast. That rolls out of bounds though.
I don't know if he was exactly passing it to him or trying to bowl him over.
Yeah, more like a bowling over motion, but looked like there was some miscommunication in that moment.
Again, Rogers pretty dogged sticking with this zone.
Manigo, he's going to drive in, blocked by Sun Xiangjun, but Davis right behind him comes in for 2.
Quincy Davis has done more than his part now with 14 on the game. A lot of those second effort plays.
Winston tries to go in for a hook shot, and Beast comes back in though.
They have a long way to go, the Braves do, but Beast, offensive rebounding and putbacks is a strong suit of his.
With Manigal wide open, off target though. It's going to be Braves possession.
I think Quincy Davis is going to be called for the dislodge of Chen Xiangjun. Of course, those guys have been battling for 3 years now, but you're going to see a lot more of this, and I'm sure the Kings want to say a flop on Chen Xiangjun, but Davis did swipe backwards with him. And so Davis has got 5 personal though. So Mullins is in for him. Now that might be a slight window of opportunity for the Braves if they can really go at the paint in the interior of the Kings. They have gone away from that ever since the start of last quarter. Just like that, it's Winston on the cut to the basket.
That's Beast dropping a dime for Winston, as we have a called timeout.
All right.
Score 75-63. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for more Plus League basketball.
Make some noise for New Taipei Queens！ 到底要准备几支新舞呢？让我们拭目以待啊 ！Let's go！
Taipei Queens in the house tonight as you are tuning in to Game 1 of the finals. New Taipei Kings taking the lead 75 against the Fubon Braves with 63 logged in.
It's a change on the Brave side as they're going to bring in Michael Singletary for Zaisev, who maybe played well in the earlier parts of the game, but so far in the fourth quarter, it had that big passing turnover, has not exactly held down the fort in the zone defense as well as they wanted him to. They're sticking with the 3-2 with Winston in the middle.
See all the veteran players besides Chen Xiangjun on the court. And versus for the Kings, Davis with 5 fouls. We got Mullins coming back into the game. Sushi pulling off the lay-in thanks to Mullins' assist.
That time taking advantage of the soft part of the zone, the middle, especially when there's a man on the low post.
And Beast, just like that, cuts through the noise and gets another in. Trying to cut through the deficit, though. The Kings keep coming back. Kyle lasers it to the paint, but Winston gets it out of the Kings' possession.
Already one lane for Beast. Does he feel it?
And Singletary, 4-3. Unfortunately, couldn't make that.
And the Braves, after an 0-for-7 third quarter, have started a 1-for-4. Not that they have to get everything a three-pointer, but it certainly would help to hit their open shots.
Sushi couldn't put his full body in, but that's okay. Kings bring the ball back. Draws a foul on Winston.
They've had success now figuring out where Sushi's going to move to, especially Chen Xiangjun as the second block of the game. But now the Kings are really going to challenge the Braves with Quincy Davis and Byron Mullins in there. So going to occupy the two bigs of the Braves down low at the bottom of the zone.
Mullins just at the top. And Venti pump fakes it. Bounce passes to Davis. And Mullins gets a rebound back. Sandwiched in between the Braves. Winston brings the ball back. And Chen Xiangjun gets possession. But the ball gets tumbled around out of bounds. That's going to be Kings possession once again.
Kind of interesting they have Ling Qingfang in there. You would think they might want to put a shooter in there, but with Byron Mullins' outside shooting abilities. And so it looks like we have a challenge issued by the Braves on the out of bounds. At the same time, probably going to bring in Igor Zaisev to counter the size.
First time we're seeing a coach calling for a challenge. Let's take a look at that replay to see who's the last one to touch that ball before that ball rolled out of bounds.
On the replay, it certainly looks like Winston puts a lot more on it.
Well, it certainly does. You can even see he put his whole palm on it.
Maybe we'll have to wait to a future game, but the changeup by Coach Rogers, definitely not more than 3 youngsters out there on the floor together. Obviously, Chen Xiangjun averaged the most minutes among all of those players. But in the first game against the Kings,
And Kyle from deep, but way too short. Throws a man ball.
and immediately he's got to wipe his hands on his shorts, his jersey. Something was off. Just
maybe a back grip, some butterfingers.
Got to wipe whatever it is off or wipe something on.
A little bit too much sauce going on there. That's a travel call on Beast. He's looking frustrated at that call. And at himself probably. As Amigo checks back in.
You see the left foot is the pivot foot, but he picks it up before making his drive left. So Ling Jingbang is out. And Amigo is in. It's a very dangerous combination for the Kings out there who see the Braves defense swap a little bit to a 2-3 look.
10 seconds left of the shot. Comes in for a slammer.
The Braves can't break it into single digits in a long while.
Mullins logging in 11 points and getting 17 rebounds. Zaitsev at the top. Finds Winston. Winston on the left wing.
A lot of close misses from the perimeter, but a miss is a miss for the Braves, who see only 4 go in on the game. And they, almost as like the Kings can leave them open, and it would be good defense.
Halfway through this quarter, and another travel call. And a call timeout for Coach Roger.
Maybe to the pleasure of Braves fan in attendance, a slight consolation that Amigos called for a travel, but he didn't put up much of an argument, just head toward the other side. As its Beast was still an additional word with the referees. Wasn't that demonstrative when he got called for the travel. And with less than 6 minutes left, it's really crunch time for the Braves. They've not exactly found any scoring touches, but dribble drives right to the basket. We didn't catch the front end of that, but whether it's to attack or to stay away, Coach Roger pointing out Byron Mullins is the #1 defender, or to use American football terms, he's the Mike defender, the guy that they line everything off of. But Byron Mullins kind of coming alive in the second half, obviously was enacting like more or less a decoy in the first part, but some of these rim runs and eventually sticking with it.
Well, he managed to be a little bit more careful in the second half. I mean, he's still only with 3 personal fouls.
9 points in the second half to go along with 7 rebounds. And there's his 8th.
There's another rebound for him.
Kind of lucky with the out of bounds, but it'll still count. The key, though, is Coach Roger put a countdown timer on the lineup out there right now. Says we need to get it to within double digits before 4 minutes left on the clock. It's Winston who missed the close one. It's almost like the difficulty needs to be raised for him.
The shot clock counting down. Amigos double team. And Mullins, though, at the paint, tries to go in for 2 off target. Beast lasers it out to Chen Xiangjun. Gets that mid-range shot.
That's definitely a good signing for Coach Roger. Beast staying with some awareness and finding an open teammate. Of course, Chen Xiangjun hitting the rather difficult floater from the corner, but it's 2 points any way you can get it.
And Amigos turns around for that jumper, no good. As Beast goes under, pops it back out to Zaitsev. Zaitsev this time. A shot that's off target, and Kings get the ball back to offense, but ball rolls out of bounds.
That's a rare Byron Mullins to Quincy Davis on the fast break. Good idea, but a chance to set up on defense as you see Beast initially putting on the one-on-one moves, but Chen Xiangjun had a mismatch. Easy enough to take care of.
Zaitsev trying to pass to Winston way too much to his left.
And we keep on referring to other sports, that's what is so-called an unforced error. No defender pressuring you, no defender pressuring the pass.
Amigo pump fakes it out to Jolene, and Jolene forces himself into the paint. And the Kings managed to draw another foul.
That one on the rebound, but it was Davis in good position. Chen Xiangjun fighting off the disadvantage. And there come the substitutions. And indeed, it will be the kids, as it looks like it's Jet and Beast heading out. Well, if any lineup could maybe work a miracle, it's this group.
10 seconds left on the shot clock. Amigo finds that open lane, comes in for the kill.
Sounds like there's a whistle on a possible delay of game, but no, it's Zaitsev who holding his throat. Not a lot of movement on the Brave bench, though, as they're going to let Z recover. I don't know what happened there.
Ooh, looks like Chen Xiangjun's shoulder went into Zaitsev's neck.
Now, Zaitsev not happy with something on the King side. Though, somebody should have mentioned it's Chen Xiangjun crashed in, and though it's a couple Kings who were kind of let him know about it. Well, we've seen it a number of times where especially import players get calmed down by their local teammates in this third season. Now back to action we go.
So Guerrier tops it to Zaitsev, and Zaitsev double team denied by Mullins. It's still going to be Braves possession.
Josh probably should have took the layup himself instead of forcing a pass there.
Behind the back there. Mullins gets another block. Guerrier comes in for the pulls up for a mid-range.
Lucky to get the basketball back, but Zoguoyer and Jin Jingzao missing pretty open mid-range shots. And that's the night that it's been for the Braves. Roger going to the scorer's table, but thinking twice about a timeout.
Slight delay of game right here between Zaitsev and Davis. Chen Xiangjun didn't want to make a three-point shot.
Good job by Mullins to crash down there on the board as Zaitsev had a back screen going for him.
He's letting the clock run. Joe pops it to Kyle in the corner.
Try to guide it away with a push from the back.
Pushing foul called on Mullins. And Braves once again call in a timeout as Kings managed to pull ahead in the score even more in the final quarter. 81-67 is the score.
Don't know if you can give the Braves credit for holding on to a 14-point deficit, but it's not increased, it's not decreased in the last 6 or 7 minutes. They're definitely not good enough. And 67 points would be the lowest mark for the Braves scoring. And on the game, of course, they have 3 minutes left. They beat the Pilots 94-67, then 83-74, then 101-89. And right now, the Kings are really putting on a clinic in this second half, frustrating the Braves and turning away a lot of what they want to do on their half-court sets, and of course, maybe a little bit lucky with all these missed open shots as well.
Definitely, it's for sure been more of a slog for the Braves. Their field goal percentage is sitting at 40% as opposed to the Kings with 53. Three-point percentages also are a little bit lacking, 16 only for the Braves. Zysek with the most 3 points, making 2 of his 6 versus the Kings, 22%.
So with under 3 minutes to go, you don't want to give up the game, but interesting enough, Coach Roger bringing in Winston, bringing in Jet, bringing in Beast. But this time it's Michael Singletary, and Coach Marchand countering with Kenny Manigault right now.
Jet trying to go in for 3 at the top, but loses balance.
Now it's back to man defense with Winston trying to face guard Amigo.
Amigo with 8 seconds manages to swish it in on the top.
Amigo once again with what feels like pretty light work. And there's a whistle here. It's going to be on Davis, though Kenny Manigault was the one who gave Chen Xiangjun a shove earlier in the play.
I was going to mention, that was something that I'm surprised the referees didn't call upon, but here we are, Davis with another foul called on him.
It's Kenny Manigault's third, excuse us.
Apologies on our behalf. Here we got 6 seconds left of the clock.
And the Kings, for 3 minutes now, have not had any sense of urgency. They can set up whatever they want and, in fact, have a mismatch.
Lane couldn't execute that layup up against Singletary. Singletary from deep, airballs it, Winston, and then right back in with a putback.
In under 2 minutes, the Kings will get JJ in for, it looks like Amigo to protect him. Doesn't look like a lot of other vets will get subbed out, though.
This should be it for Amigo in tonight's game. Did incredible work scoring at 24 points in tonight's game, trying to exceed 25 in the last series. Manigault deep for 3. As manages to get the rebound back from his shot.
Beast couldn't secure it with 2 hands, and more time will come off.
Once again, Manigault with possession of the ball. Pushes through into the paint, no good, but Davis comes right back in for the putback. As Winston quickly passes it on to Singletary. Overhead, passes it to Jet, but couldn't get a grip of that ball. Goes out of bounds. You can see the frustration in Singletary's eyes as well as Jet.
And now both teams are going to be emptying out their benches in a pretty undramatic fourth quarter where the Kings just outclassed the Braves in pretty much every facet of the game. They went to try that zone defense, and the Kings showed they could broke it. In fact, got a little creative by going old school with Davis and Mullins in there. And now all of the Kings regulars could get a rest with a victory in hand, and the Braves, meanwhile, looking for answers.
On the Kings side, we see Omar Niang for the first time. Chasing from the top is too short. With 13 seconds left, Chen Pingzhao manages to get in 3. 15 seconds as the clock is ticking down. But fans are on their feet right now. The coaches are already exchanging handshakes from across. And just like that, Kings pull through with the first win of this series.
This is what it means to have home court advantage. More familiar with the hoops in here, probably got more shot ups during the week in the same building. And certainly get to enjoy the support of the home fans to spur them on and make, as we say, those runs last even longer, count for some more points. And in the end, it not even close on the final score. And after he catches his breath, Amigo Yang Jiming will be the player interviewed.
我有听到。就很专注在球场上了，其他事就真的没有去做任何想法这样子。其实也没有太多想法，我觉得就是听从球队，然后教练所设定的目标，然后去执行这样子，然后自己就是很专注在球场上，然后做好我自己的工作就好了。
Just talking about doing his due diligence and playing the part for the Kings. He scored 24 points, 3 assists.
没有想法，因为这个系列赛还没有结束嘛，它只是一场球而已。那我觉得外界怎么看我，对我来说，one game at a time。重要，重要的是我们怎么自己去看待自己。我觉得就是大家一整季的努力，然后我觉得他们
And maybe thankful to good timing of Amigo able to get his whole team some Air Forces with Kings logo and their individual player numbers printed on the back for their season's worth of hard work. So Amigo again, the leading man, of course. Not only with his performance on the court, but also the way he led the team. He probably calmed them down and set them on the right path when they were kind of going askew and going awry.
He's got the P.LEAGUE MVP last season, so maybe we'll be seeing him as the finals MVP. Stay tuned, we'll be right back for our final messages for this P.LEAGUE Finals Game 1. So go away.
来到我们的现场。所以呢，希望等一下大家都可以 all ready， 让我们来接受这场最适合今天不过的表演。好，现在这个时间呢，交给我们新庄城堡内的灵魂人物，我们的 DJ 上 ，Let's go！ 让大家稍等一下，大家可以跟着上的节奏一起敲打。
So
beat it,
just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it, but you wanna be bad, just beat it. Beat it, don't beat it. Show how funky, strong, it's just like that. It doesn't matter.
Suites, looking down on the ops. Took her for a test drive, left them on the lot. Time is money, so I spend it on a watch. Hold on, no titties showing through the white tee. You can see the thong busting on my tight jeans. Okay, rocks on my fingers like a nigga wife me. Got another shorty, she ain't nothing like me. Yeah, about to catch another fight. Yeah, the apple bottom make him wanna bite. I just wanna have a good night. I just wanna have a good night. Hold up, if you don't know, now you know. If you broke, then you gotta let him go. You gotta have anybody inside.
We're still here at Xingzhuang Stadium. Just concluded the game 1 of the series, 86-72 is the score. So Ryan, what do you think Coach Roger Shu has got up in his sleeves for the next game? What is he going to tell his players to adjust?
Well, first of all, he's probably betting on the team shooting much better than they did in this game. You see the combined team statistics, 34%. Now, I'm sure Coach Marchand and the Kings would say they had a big part in their defensive strategy, but the Braves honestly missed a lot of their open shots, so that'll correct itself a little bit. But I think the biggest problem for the Braves is they couldn't get what they wanted on the defensive end with what they call 3 stops. And so all the time the Kings, no matter if they double teamed or they went to a zone defense, the Kings had an answer, and they had an answer pretty quickly without Marchand having to call timeouts. So the Braves' fundamentals on the defensive side have to be a lot more sound, match up properly, take the right angles, and secure a lot of loose balls, which they didn't do on the game.
As Kings take on the first win, Game 2. Stick around for a Monday at 7 o'clock, still at Xingzhuang Stadium. So tune in to see if we'll see those adjustments made on the Braves. But Kings are going to be riding a high after tonight.
It's Wang Xinkai and Taipei Taijing on the Mandarin broadcast.
Brian, I want to thank you so much for inviting me onto the Plus League broadcast. It's been a true honor to be here with you tonight.
It's great to have you, and we had a good game, but maybe looking forward to even better ones as the series continues, as we wrap up our season. So on behalf of the 6 teams in the league office, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.